Hi guys, this is Gnimsh and I just finished grinding for the day. It's 5 a.m. in Europe and I'm super happy because I got to top 10 Europe and the season is almost over. I started grinding today at Legend 3000 with a specific deck that I want to present to you called the Gnimsh Druid. So let's quickly jump to the deck. I'm going to talk about the deck and I'm going to show you a couple of games, how I got there and what's up. So here is the list. It's an aggressive Druid with the sisters, with 80s Darkbane, Fiola Lightbane, and a lot of good minions. The Savage Combatant, so there's a couple of new cards, and obviously Force of Nature Savage Roar is the main combo of the deck. But let's talk about the choices. So obviously Innervate is needed because you want to have those early turns where you can Innervate Lightbane, Darkbane if you have a Mark of the Wild. But what I find mostly, I try to Innervate a Piloted Shredder on 2 or a 5-drop on 3. On turn 1, if you have the coin, you play the 2-drop. If you don't have the coin, you mostly wait and you just use Innervate on those early turns. But use the Innervate for sure, because you don't have Ancient of Lore. This deck doesn't have that much draw, so you want to use Innervate early to give yourself tempo. Living Roots, I just love the card. It spawns 2 Groots, 2 small Groots, and well, the card for starters, it's a great anti-aggro card if you're racing. So Living Root, just turn 1 versus Hunter, creating 2 Groots. You can trade versus his stuff. You can start dealing damage. Even versus Warrior, just create those 1/1 saplings, attack face, deal damage. Works really well with Power of the Wild as well. And the fact that it deals 2 damage is great. It's being buffed by Azure Drake, and it also can deal damage to face, which is missing from Raft. So I was able to just pull sick combos and sick damage from just Living Roots, just dealing 17 on 1 turn when I needed it with the combo Savage Roar, Shapeshift and Living Roots. Mark of the Wild is amazing. It helps you to get the tempo plays as well, trade with stuff, and has this amazing synergy with Lightbane and Darkbane. With Darkbane, on turn 5, you just play her, you buff her with Mark of the Wild, 3 damage to face or to a minion can really save you. And Lightbane with Mark of the Wild is so good versus Warrior. Just Warrior sitting on the Death Spite and you then slam Lightbane with Mark of the Wild. She has Divine Shield, she's like 5/6. What is he going to do with that? Like, even if he gets the Divine Shield down, he can't just Death Spite into it because she's still alive after that. So a very good card working with all the other things. I don't hate just buffing Living Roots as well. Just buff the Groot, use the Groot to kill something to get the tempo. Power of the Wild, really good with Living Roots obviously, and whenever you have like 2 or 3 minions, Power of the Wild +1/+1 is fine. If you miss a minion, a 3/2 Panther is always okay. Remember to use it with Force of Nature to buff the tokens and get 9 damage out of 2 cards. Aspirant is great. It's like Wild Growth, but better because it's a minion. Even if they kill it, you still have good turns. You can coin it and to play Darkbane or Lightbane on turn 2, or just play it on turn 2 and then a 4-drop on turn 3. So pretty good. Even if they kill it, you don't lose that much. Druid of the Saber is just, oh my god, this card. So it's a 3/2 with stealth, which means that you play her as on turn 2 or turn 1 with the coin, and they can't kill it. So you always deal that 3 points of damage. If you buff her with Mark of the Wild or Power of the Wild, it's even better. And the charge is also great, because sometimes you can just trade with something that you want to kill, or the fact that Savage Roar buffs her as well, so just sitting on Savage Roar and Druid of the Saber, it's like Druid of the Saber is going to deal 4 points of damage as a small lion, and it really boosts the deck. And Flame Juggler is another interesting card. In the beginning I was just testing it. I was trying Clockwork Gnome instead, just to have more synergy with the sisters. But Flame Juggler is actually really good. First, it's a 2/3 for 2 mana, good stats, and that 1 damage actually matters. Like the fact when somebody plays a 2/1 on turn 1 and you just answer with the Flame Juggler, if you hit, that's such a great tempo advantage. So Flame Juggler actually really worked. Most of the time, just 1 damage actually matters. Savage Roar, obviously. I talked about the sisters. Swipe is always good. Keeper as well, just silence whenever you want. Buff Keeper to have 3/5 with Power of the Wild. Shredders, amazing. And Savage Combatant. Savage Combatant always worked for me. 1 is fine, 1 is enough. It's mostly like a turn 6 play, where you play Combatant and then on turn 6 you can Shapeshift and deal 3 points of damage, just kill Shredder maybe. If you play Combatant on 4, then on turn 3 you are able to Savage Roar and kill Shredder instead. So Combatant always worked for me. It's just pushing so much damage if they don't kill it. And if they kill it, it's just a 5/4. They have to spend the resources to deal with it. Azure Drake, really good, and drawing cards, also buffing Living Roots, which is really important. Swipe, giving you the card, a good dragon overall. Lothep just to block the decks with spells and give you another turn. Force of Nature, obviously, and Dr. Boom, because he's just great, and with wins with Satyr. So this is the Gnimsh Druid. Let's jump into the games and see how it works. The first game is Druid versus Hunter, and I'm getting my starting hand, getting everything out. So I'm mostly looking for, Living Roots, Druid of the Saber, and some 2-drops, because versus Hunter you want to be the one having the initiative. You want to be the one having the minions on board, and that's exactly what I get. Double Groot at the start. You always have Shapeshift, you are able to trade into the minions. So that's how you approach the Hunter. And this Hunter is, fortunately for me, well, a hybrid, probably. So just getting rid of the minion and getting the early advantage. Here, I'm lucky enough to get another Living Root, and now I need to decide what to do with this Mad Scientist. So I was thinking that it's probably Explosive Shot because he was playing the Leper Gnome, and I end up in a pretty good shape after the Groot being returned back to my hand. But yeah, Groot's on board. Huffer is pretty unlucky for him, and I'm really lucky here getting the Keeper. If not for the Keeper, I will have to trade one of the Groots and a Shapeshift into that Huffer. So that's getting the early advantage. He is trying to force some damage on me, but I do have my minions. And again, I will have to trade everything into his Hunter Creeper just to keep the advantage. With no minions on his side, I will be the one having the tempo. And I have Force of Nature, I have Dr. Boom. So that's my plan basically. Just swarm the board with minions, maybe get that Savagery at some point. Deal as much damage as possible. And those minions are great. Just, if he doesn't have Unleash the Hounds, I'm in a very good shape with the Force of Nature as well. Animal Companion doesn't work, just a Leok. He needs to kill command, Azure Drake, go for face. We are racing here. So what can I do? I'm counting damage if Dr. Boom is actually a correct play. 9 on his side, plus 2, that's 11. So he would need 5. He just used kill command, and I'm killing the Leok to deny that 3 points of damage actually. Right now he only has 8, he will need 8, and I pray that there are no dogs, no Unleash the Hounds. No Unleash the Hounds is pretty good for me, and with this, even though he's dealing so much damage, he needs to clear the Boom here and get the Hyenas to activate the Juggler. Still, on my side, I do have 5, 6, and with Savagery that's exactly enough. So I'm taking game versus Hunter, and that's why you pressure as much as possible. Another game is versus Paladin. There is a lot of Paladin on ladder. I've faced so many Paladins, and what you have to do is the same thing basically. Just kill their minions as much as possible. Swipe is a very important card versus Paladin. A Flame Juggler is really nice as well. If you hit the minion, that's giving you a lot of advantage. Also, like if you hit shielded mini bots, just taking the shield out is always good. If there are no minions, obviously play the minion. You need to have minions on board and be able to deal with whatever they do. So here, clearing, clearing is almost always good, and you have those high quality minions that you can follow up with. And then there is the Swipe. Swipe is a 1-for-1, and again, there is an Innervate, but this is a very fast druid, so you don't have to wait for Innervate for future turns, even if you get a Dr. Boom, because you do have those cards. And with Aspirant, I'm able to actually get to turn 6, and as you can see, the hero power, just clearing this, and again, killing the minion. So with this deck, you have to know when to clear and when to go face. And mostly, if you play an aggro matchup, you try to clear as much as possible, and then you go to face at the last turns. Versus control decks, you probably try to go face as much as possible, so that they clear your minions. Alright, so a pretty good board. Sylvanas got silenced at 6-5 as well. Other possibility was just maybe to use the hero power and attack with Sylvanas into Sylvanas, free damage with Aspirant as well, but going for face is always good in the deck. 6 mana is not that much for Paladin, and there is Aldor Peacekeeper. He's going to kill the Druid. He needs to, because the power to inspire for the Druid is too good. There's a Lothep to block him as well, and I decide if I want to play Druid of the Saber. I always keep Druid of the Saber in those situations, because with the Savage Roar, it deals more damage. It's just in a small lion with charge, it just deals 4. And you want to get them as low as possible, but Druid of the Saber with 1 health will be really easy to clear. And we are getting closer to the clears. It's turn 7 and he is at 7. Murloc Knight, a great card, but it will not summon any taunts. And now I just need 1 more point of damage. That's not it, so I don't have it yet. And that's actually 2 points, but not enough mana for this. But I still have Druid of the Saber, so that's pretty good. And I can't play Druid of the Saber as a Panther because of Consecration. But with this, well, it looks amazing. So what can Paladin do at this point? I still have a lot of things in my deck, like even Living Roots is finishing the game. Quartermaster is not doing it, and with this he can't even clear the board in front of him, so he is dead on board. And that's a concede from Mark. Indigo. Indigo was a warlock that actually helped me to get to the top 10. Handlock, I think with this deck I never lose versus Handlock. Most of the time you're just too fast for Handlock to handle what you have. With a fast minion in the beginning, then well, obviously double Innervate helps a lot, and you have the keepers. So Handlock has to react to what you play, and if he reacts to what you play, he will not be able to play the Giant. He has to play the Twilight Drake, but you have answers for Twilight Drake more or less. More often. So here he's just taking some early damage. There is a Shredder to the face, Innervate, Azure Drake, and I'm getting a Savage, so I have all the important pieces to win the game. Now I just need to decide how to deal with this Twilight Drake. Am I going to keep it? I would love to have 5 mana here and just silence and Living Roots, but I can't, so I decide to use the Shredder. I'm getting a Totem, which is pretty bad, but it's still 2 points of damage from the Savage Roar. So now we are in this weird spot where he has to defend, and I need to set up a kill with the Savage Roar. So Lotheb, what can I do with the Lotheb? I've got the Totem, so I will be able to heal myself. So I just decide to Shapeshift into the 5/5, kill with Azure Drake, and set up a 2/2. With this, I'll have at least 8 plus 4, 12 points of damage. I need to get... With Roots, I actually have 14. So I need 2 points of damage. I just need to get 2 points of damage somehow. Maybe another Savage Roar, maybe Roots. And I get Mark of the Wild. And with Mark of the Wild, I have enough to finish the Handlock before he even can do anything. And that will be it for the Gnimsh Druid. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the deck and climb ladder.